can you tell me how old the victims were, Ms. Krieger?
Yes, I have in my report that one of the juveniles was 6 years old at the time, or no, 9 years old at the time, or 6 years old. Date of birth 8/28/2000. And then another was date of birth 1/21/2000.
Well,
16.
2000 wouldn't make them 6 or 9. What?
16.
Oh, excuse me, 16. Sorry.
Okay. 16 and or both 16.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, that makes more sense to me.
Police arrested 36-year-old Pierre Smith of Jackson and 38-year-old Angela Cagnolotti of New Orleans after finding two 16-year-old girls and a newborn boy in their hotel room. Police say one of the girls had been reported missing and the other had been reported as a runaway in May, both just 16 years old. Smith and Cagnolotti are both being held on $100,000 bond. Police say they were holding the girls against their will, driving to different hotel rooms in the area where they were forced to have sex.
And we are about to watch the parole hearing of a woman who was sentenced to 5 years for pandering. But hey, okay, let's watch this parole hearing and I'll unpack it with the details, including what happened to her co-defendant at the end.
Good morning.
We don't see many cases like yours. Tell me about your crime.
Well, sir, I was charged with pandering.
You were charged with human trafficking.
I was tried with that. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
But I was not found to be sufficient evidence toward that, and I was offered a pandering charge, to which I pled guilty on 2 counts. I'm guilty of having 2 juveniles in my company. And the reason why they were in my company was because I thought that I was helping them not be on the street. I was involved in my own life. I was involved in the sexual business, and I had no way of knowing out of it for myself, let alone to help them out of it. But I did not feel like I should have left them on the street, and then with the baby. They had a 3-month-old baby. So according to what I thought to do then, which was criminally negligent, that's why I'm here.
But you assisted them in pursuing prostitution, right?
They used my laptop. They had acquired the means through me to continue to do what they were doing.
Okay. They were doing it before they met you?
Yes, sir.
How'd you meet them?
I was introduced to them by my co-defendant, who at the time was my boyfriend, my living boyfriend.
Okay. You still have a relationship with him of any kind?
Absolutely not.
What do you think you'd do for a living if you were released on parole?
Well, I was already working on music. I write music. Since I've been incarcerated, I've written over 300 poems, which I plan to publish, and continue with my music aspirations. I also will be doing some homework, some sewing, things at home. But I received full Social Security benefits. And
Why do you receive Social Security benefits?
well, for my physical disability and my mental disabilities.
And what, if I may ask, is your physical disability?
I have a combination of fibromyalgia, scoliosis, arthritis, and sciatica.
Tough to be a sex worker with all those conditions, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It was.
What mental condition?
I have some emotional disturbances, PTSD, anxiety, and depression.
Emotional PTSD from what period in your life?
It wasn't from my military service. It was post-military service, kind of several abusive relationships, and probably a little bit of Katrina.
You were in the military?
Yes, sir.
What branch?
Army National Guard
For how long?
from 1994 to 1998.
And what was the nature of your discharge?
It was honorable discharge with conditions.
Good. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
You wish you'd stayed with it?
Yes, I wish I had gone active duty,
Yeah, well, that's what I meant, I guess.
because I would have gotten more from it.
Were you using drugs or alcohol during the period of time that you committed this crime?
I drank occasionally. I was using marijuana, but I think that I was more severely being manipulated and lied to by my co-defendant and kind of blinded over a lot of the things that were going on. But as far as abusing drugs, I've never done any kind of hard drugs other than marijuana and a drink occasionally. I've never been susceptible to my downfall because of the use of narcotics. I think it was my choice of company and the decisions that I made.
As to your pursuits upon release, I don't have to tell you that the music business is pretty fickle.
Oh, yes, sir.
And uncertain at best.
Yes.
There are fabulous rewards if you're successful, and very little reward when you're not. So, are you receiving enough in Social Security disability benefits to survive?
Well, we have a family house, which I'll be living in. So aside from my own immediate needs like food and personal, things, I'm pretty okay with that situation. I don't have any rent to pay or utilities to have to pay for. And I get the maximum amount for my Social Security for my amount for me at that point. And most of the musicians I know have pretty much told me they do music because they love to do music.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been, world traveled, and they've come back to New Orleans to do music in New Orleans because they
I know, but when I asked you what you were going to do for a living, that's what you told me.
Yeah, that's my pursuit.
And you understand my concern.
Yes, sir.
If I told you I was beginning tomorrow, I'm gonna play professional basketball, my chances of succeeding are pretty slim.
Okay.
They were slim 50 years ago, let alone now.
Yes, sir.
So I'm speaking of the odds. You may be the most talented musician I've ever heard. You may be the best songwriter, best poet. I don't know. We have no idea about any of that. But statistically speaking, the odds are against you. So as long as you're going things with your eyes wide open, I think that's important. Who else lives in the family home?
Well, this the part of the home that belongs to my father, and he and his wife live in California. So that part of the house is basically vacant for me right now.
I'm a little confused now. It's a house?
It's a house that was left to my dad and his siblings by my grandmother, and it stayed in the house. It has to stay in the family, so it can't be sold out of the family.
Okay.
And he added on to the house, so there's 2 other living areas. There's 2 other basically apartments, and that 3rd apartment.
It's like a triplex,
Yes.
kind of.
Yes, sir.
Where is it located?
Uptown New Orleans, up near near the canal, Cambronne and Plum, Pigeon Town area.
How far did you go in school?
I graduated high school and I have some college.
Good. Were you majoring in anything in college, or were you doing general studies?
I had attempted a general major of a combined major of marketing management and information systems. And I kind of veered away from the computer programming and into the marketing. Now, when I would choose to go back to college, I would study English and psychology.
And what programs have you taken since you've been locked up?
Okay, so I've taken my reentry. I've
Yeah.
also taken substance abuse and oh goodness. I'm sorry, I got nervous.
That's okay.
Okay.
Have you taken sex offender training?
Yes, sir. I was enrolled in that class when the quarantine hit, which was morals and integrity. And I was almost finished with my first year of it. And I was also taking MRC. MRT, excuse me.
So how many parts of the sex offender treatment have you taken?
I've taken almost a full year of it.
Okay. But not completed it.
Well,
I understand. Look, I didn't say it was your fault. We're not assigning blame. That some people, COVID-19 affects different people different ways. It treats almost nobody well. So,
I understand it would cost me a little more to finish it in the world than here.
All right. That's all the questions I have.
Ms. Wise?
Good morning.
Good morning.
The records show that you are divorced and the mother of 3 children. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What are the ages of your children?
My daughter is 20. She's in college. My middle son is 15. And my youngest son is 5.
And where are they? Where are they, the minors?
My youngest son is with the family who wishes to adopt him. And they're awaiting to go through the finishing process of that. My 15-year-old is with his father and his grandmother, where he lives in New Orleans.
So the 5-year-old, is he in child services, child protective services?
The 5-year-old is with a family, with a mother and a father who have had him since he was 3 months old.
Okay. Tell me about your write-ups. Have you had any write-ups since you've been down this time?
I have had no disciplinary actions. I had one write-up for an incident I did not know was wrong to do. When I cut my hair, I naturally flushed it down the toilet and it got caught in the drain. So I got a pink slip and a stern warning about flushing things that don't go down the drain.
When was that?
That was at Hunt's.
You remember the date?
No, ma'am. But like I said, I didn't suffer any disciplinary action, so I don't know what became of it.
You had enrolled in the horticulture program in
Yes.
August of 19.
Yes, ma'am. We were also stopped because of the quarantine.
Right, but you have no interest in pursuing anything in that field.
Well, I actually do, but it's more long-term and more personal than it would be professional. Me and my mother, we've always grown a large garden, and so that part of growing things always interests me. And then the building part of things, like I said, my dad built onto our family home, and so the building and the landscaping part really interests me as well.
Okay. I do want to inform you, as a part of this process, that we make contact with the victim. Should the DA gonna be speaking, and your victim is opposed. Well, your victim's mother is opposed to your release, and she indicated that her daughter is still dealing with the toll of the crime. Can you speak to that?
Well, I can speak to the issue of the mother being opposed to me being out. I was more against what I was doing than it ever came out to be known. And I had tried my very best in communicating to the girls that they shouldn't be doing what they were doing, except I couldn't lead by example. So, it's like trying to tell somebody they should go a different way than the way that you're going, because you know where they would end up. So they didn't listen to me. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. And had they chosen to go back home to their mother, which I suggested, go to the Covenant House, which I suggested, maybe I wouldn't be in this situation. But I'm here and I accept my consequences and what it has suffered me and my children because of the choices that I made to help them in the way that I tried to help.
Mhm. All right, that's all I had, Chairman.
All right, Warden, do you have a comment?
No, sir, I do not.
Thank you. Ms. Pate, do you have, would you like to make a comment?
You're muted.
Can't hear you, Ms. Pate.
I don't see her.
I don't see her either. I see her name, but she wanted to speak, so I guess. All right. Okay, well, one more
Ms.
time.
Kelsey, we're trying to unmute her.
Okay.
There, that was off for a second. Now,
All right, Ms. Pate.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I didn't
Just
hear.
go ahead if you'd like to make a statement on her behalf.
Yes, I recently found out that the victims were runaways after doing some diligent research online. But as far as my mother's the timing is, as far as I've been talking to her, I have seen the progress in her daily mindset, what she believes in, and it's a shift from what I've known her to be in my childhood, which was absent and choosing to do what's best for her and not, what's best for the people that she loves and the people that she brought into this world. So as far as that, she has gotten better with. It's not the best that it can be, but it's a process that I am willing to take with her once she does get out and while she is remaining inside. That's all.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Adele Krieger.
Good morning. Our position is that we are going to oppose any early release of Ms. Cagnolotti due to the fact that this crime involved the risk and endangerment involving juveniles and in the circumstances involving the crime. The fact that they were found in a hotel room with items that may suggest an unsuitable, by all means, environment for young juveniles to be in. And as a result, we oppose any release.
All right, thank you. All right.
can you tell me how old the victims were, Ms. Krieger?
Yes, I have in my report that one of the juveniles was 6 years old at the time, or no, 9 years old at the time, or 6 years old. Date of birth 8/28/2000. And then another was date of birth 1/21/2000.
Well,
16.
2000 wouldn't make them 6 or 9. What?
16.
Oh, excuse me, 16. Sorry.
Okay. 16 and or both 16.
Yes.
All right. Okay, well, that makes more sense to me. Okay, that's all I had.
All right. Let me get something back just a second. All right, Angela, just to clarify for me, I'm just trying to work through your SSI. I mean, your diagnoses that you have there. Is there something else that you have a diagnosis to be able to be on SSI? Is there something else going on at those particular diagnoses? I'm just not really sure if that will make you eligible. Is there a cognitive? Is there some? Is the PS
Cognitive, meaning
Yeah.
mental,
any type? So is there mental health issues that's allowing you to have SSI? I mean, you said you had sciatica. You said you had scoliosis. You said you had fibromyalgia and arthritis.
yes, sir.
And you just applied with that and got on SSI. There's no anxiety, depression. There's no.
I went through Matt Greenbaum and Associates. So, I mean, they would have my records as
Yeah,
well.
I'm just asking you. Is there anything else going on? Those are the issues.
Those were my main issues, was my physical disability, but I also have my psych records to back up what goes on with me. My mother was bipolar, and I had a very kind of traumatic, childhood dealing with her. But I try to remain, conscious and emotionally balanced, but I still have to, see a psych, and I still have to take some medications to
Right.
help with that.
So that plays into, because you get around. I know you have those diagnoses, but you get around. I mean, you can walk around, you can function, all your activity of daily living, you can do what you need to do, right?
Yeah, can if you put your mind to it, and you exclude negative factors.
Right. But I mean, from a physical standpoint.
Oh, from a physical standpoint, if I have the means and the ability to sit when I need to sit, stand when I need to stand, those were my basic limitations. Not to reach and bend at the same time. I get a lot of pinched nerves. So, it's moderation and listening to my body.
Right.
I can pretty much do whatever I need to do. I could cut grass, I could keep
Right.
my clean.
Right. With those diagnoses, you should be able to do pretty much anything you want to. What is, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
I would just like to say that to all those, opposed, and to all those for, my release, I have grown. I have appreciated the time that I've been here, and I have definitely learned my lesson in understanding what decisions I would definitely make differently. I've had time to mature and grow as a person. And either way, it's okay.
All right. Thank you. Panel prepared to vote?
Yep.
Mr. Keith Jones.
Ms. Cagnolati, you obviously are a bright woman.
Yes.
And I think you can achieve a lot. You may be, you might have a brilliant career in music. I don't know, but you pled guilty to pandering, and all you could tell us today is how much you were trying to help those girls. And that's not what you pled to. Your victims say, at least one is symptomatic and doesn't know if she'll ever get over it.
He's got the floor.
And so my vote today is to deny your parole.
That's fine.
Miss
Time.
Wise.
Miss Cagnolati, you are definitely an interesting case, and you had a 5-year sentence, and you better done a year of the sentence, and you have not completed sex offender treatment. sex offender program, and I really would like to see that done before you leave. So my vote, I concur with Mr. Jones. My vote is to deny for those reasons. Good luck
All
to
right.
you. Good luck to you.
All right, you have 2 votes to deny. I'm also going to vote to deny your parole due to law enforcement opposition, victim opposition. You need some more programs. So 3 votes to deny. Your parole's been denied. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's unpack this. And I'm going to do this by sharing with you the update of her co-defendant. And also, we're going to play a soundtrack of Angela's recent release. She just released it about a year ago, and I happen to like it. Now, she's, some of her earlier stuff was like the rap and hip hop, and her most recent song is blues country southern mix. It's my kind of thing. I like that kind of music. So, I don't know, we'll play it. You'll let me know what you think. Now, what's interesting about this case is that she got the longer sentence than even her co-defendant. Now, we have seen that before. We have seen when a woman's involved and other men are involved in these type of operations. Maybe you remember the case. It was a Miss Bonnie Jackson case where she had this woman had 5 co-defendants, and Miss Bonnie Jackson actually thought that she was also a victim in it. And she got the longest sentence of all of them. And that could be similar in this case as well. Now, I'm not saying she's guilty. She was involved in every step of the way from what I can read. And she didn't seem to take any accountability, which was just, say what you will about it. I guess they say, well, all right. So let me read to you the article. And her co-defendant got off. Sir Richard here has in the notes, it seems that he had gotten off because he was rearrested. And if he hadn't gotten off, he got less time because he was rearrested just a few years later. He's actually just bonded out for another arrest. He's out on bond. So he keeps getting in trouble since her release, doing her full term time. She stayed out of trouble, but he's now out on bond actually. But anyways, let's read. I know I'm jumping all over the place. Let's read this article. This is written in it's updated in 2019. So accused sex traffickers went from motel to motel with 2 missing girls. Pierre Smith and Angela Cognaletti were both charged with 2 counts after their arrest on Monday, July 11, 2016. Investigators said in an arrest warrant that the pair moved 2 juvenile girls, both who had been reported missing, motel to motel. This is what was found. Just a bunch of, innocent toys, condoms, notebooks, scribbled with names, phone numbers, and dollar amounts. And this is complete speculation, but I totally can see that she was the one managing the ledger. Speculation, of course, I have no idea. Were found Monday, July 11th in New Orleans. I mean, to find out she served 6 years in the military. She does sound, articulate. But then you fall down, you go down this route. It's just U.S. Marshals located New Orleans teenage girls, both of them juveniles, who had reported as missing. New Orleans police outside the motel room before the arrests were made. In an arrest warrant for one of the 2 suspects states, agents with the U.S. Marshal Task Force and Department of Homeland Security encountered the missing juveniles 15 and 16 around 6:30 p.m. Monday. Authorities spoke with and detained the girls after they exited the room at the historic motel. After authorities detained the missing girls, a 36-year-old man, Pierre Smith, walked out of the motel with a 4-month-old baby. Can you even imagine bringing a 4-month-old baby into this? The warrant states the 16-year-old girl told authorities she was the child's mother and Smith was the child's father. Wait a minute. He's the father. She's 16, and he doesn't get charged for that? How did he get away with this? I don't understand. And again, the reason that we know this is because he's He's been rearrested. Sir Richard here has in the notes. Smith is currently in Raymond Detention Center, but he's not. He bonded out, having been arrested on August 28, 2023. Apparently, he was confined in MS after 2016 trafficking and was convicted in Louisiana in 2019 per sex offender registry, although can't find trial info. And then he was released from Louisiana sometime prior to his July appearance back in Jackson. One of the links shows why arrested. I don't know, but he's bonded out. But as you can see, he did get away with it. He's doing prostitution. He sexually assaulted a 16-year-old, had a baby with her, and he gets less time, I believe, than she got. Can you imagine? But, you know, just children. How is that possible? You have a baby with her. You have the DNA. You can prosecute with that. Anyways, okay. I don't know. Maybe they tested DNA and it wasn't his baby. Who knows? He lawyered up something. But authorities, she was a child and Smith was the child's father. Also arrested was Angela. Both she and Smith were arrested Monday and charged with 2 counts of that. And was arrested after she pulled up to the scene where the 2 girls were detained in a 2000 Lincoln Town Car. The warrant states that the investigation revealed that the 2 adults had been moving from motel to motel around the city with the girls. The story corroborated with information of the mother, the 15-year-old victim, who reported her daughter missing, told investigators that was on July 8th. After Cognality gave permission for investigators to search the motel room, the warrant reads they recovered several cellular phones, a laptop, numerous toys of a sexual nature, lubricant, ledger, and other paperwork. Included in the notebook and the paperwork were back page ads, names with corresponding phone numbers, times, amount of money for those times, and the warrant read. Okay, the back page is okay. A search of Smith's vehicle turned up red-colored dress. The 15-year-old victim's family described her as wearing a New Orleans East before the Lincoln Town Car picked her up. Also in the vehicle was a folding massage table, 2 notebooks with more names, phone numbers, time, and money and accounts. The teenage victims and the 16-year-old victim's baby were taken to examine at the hospital. So again, she's free and out of trouble. He got arrested but bonded out, so is in the streets right now. And this is after, of course, this all took place 2016, and this hearing was on 2020. Now, again, we're going to go play her song, and you'll tell me what you think, and you tell me how you feel about this case. Hey, if she can stay out of trouble, is that rehabilitation? Is that anyways the outcome that you hope for?